In this video, I'm going to go over Blackboard and also course conduct. Now, when you open the course in UTC Learn Blackboard, this is the page that you will see. So let's start here page. Okay, and now here is a link called Start Getting Started, and there is some accommodation and accessibility information here. But this is the first thing you should do, and you need to do this only once, the very first time, and then you don't have to do this after that. So you need to go into this getting started and then do the attendance tracking activity. This is required. This has been instituted starting from this semester, and Provost requires this. So you have to do this. You need to complete a small course attendance quiz confirming your attendance in the class. So it's not very time consuming, but you're required to do this. Okay, and then here are some of the links that you may want to look at the first time you're in the Blackboard. So course announcements will be here, and here is information about me, the email address, and telephone number, and so on. And here is where the syllabus is. So I have the syllabus for the hybrid class section 5, and here is the syllabus for section 6. And these two are, as far as the content is concerned, it's exactly the same, except for the top part where the CRN numbers are different. So there is the section CRN number for section 5 is different from CRN number for section 6. Except for that, everything else is exactly the same. So here is our textbook links. So if you click textbook, it has all the textbook information and the alternative ways in which you can purchase access to MindTap. And you can purchase MindTap from bookstore, or you can purchase directly from their website. And as I said, you need to register for MindTap. Okay, but if you by clicking this link and making sure that the pop-up blocker is disabled. If the pop-up blocker is not disabled, you will not get anywhere. So you have to make sure that the pop-up blocker is disabled. Then you will be able to click that, and then you will go through the procedure of making the payment or using the grace period. And as I said previously, you need to use the grace period to get started right away. Don't wait until your financial aid comes through. There is no need for you to wait, and there are due dates, and I will apply those due dates. Not having your financial aid in line is not an excuse, because you don't need financial aid to get started. All you have to do is to make sure your payment is processed within the grace period, which I think is about 2 weeks or something. And by that time, your financial aid should be available to you. Okay, and here is another link, MindTap links, where all the different chapters are linked, and you can go to individual chapters directly from here. Okay, so when you register, you make sure that you link to the MindTap course from Blackboard. Don't go to MindTap directly, and that will mess up registration and connecting your registration with my class. Okay, so now here is the content of the course, these 4 tabs, of which the most important tab, as far as I'm concerned, is the course schedule. Okay, if you look at the course schedule, I'll have one folder for each week. Okay, and there is a folder for what you need to do before classes begin. So if you click that, and you will see the list of activities you have to finish. The first one is a required activity which I have set up for online learning readiness survey, and you have to complete this. It doesn't matter whether you pass or fail this, but you have to complete it. Okay, so remember, unless you complete the survey, many of the links in Blackboard will not become visible to you. You will not be able to do the homework. You will not be able to do the quiz and so on unless you complete this activity. Okay, so this must be done before classes begin. And of course, task 2 is to familiarize yourself with MindTap. You have already used MindTap from 2110, then you have a head start. Okay, and then there is Excel review. Okay, and you need to make sure to read this. and we will be using Excel quite extensively, and therefore it is extremely important that you have the required level of skill in Excel, and the topics and skills covered in MGT 1000 is a prerequisite, is a serious prerequisite. Okay, none of the topics, none of the skills, Excel skills covered in MGT 1000 will be covered again here. Okay, I'm going to assume that you already are familiar with those topics and those skills. Anything new or specific to the start class, I will go over that, but general skills about Excel I will not. So you need to make sure that you go through this review and get yourself up to speed. Do you have any general questions? This is a discussion board, and you can click here and post it there. And these are before classes begin. Okay? And for each week, okay, there is a folder, and then I've highlighted all the different assessment tasks that you have to complete. So for week 1, you have to do homework number 1, which will be due on this date. And then there is quiz number 1 for chapter 1. Okay, and then quiz number 2 for chapter 2. So there are totally 4 of them. Okay, and they need to be done. Here are the due dates, and they need to be done in MindTap. Okay, so similarly, in each week, you will have a summary of the assessments that will be available, that will be highlighted right below the link to the folder. Okay, so if you link to the folder, you will see 2 further folders inside that. Okay, one is classwork. So you need to click on classwork, and there is a list of things that you need to do. So here is what you need to do for chapter 1, chapter 2, and then any questions that you may have, you can post them in the discussion board here. So this is classwork. Okay, then go back, and here is the assessment for that classwork. So you have to first finish classwork, and then you do the assessment activities. So if you click on assessments, and you have a link to all of the different assessments that you have to complete. So here is a homework link. If you click that, and you'll get to the homework page, and you click this and go to the quiz page, and you can take the quiz and so on. Okay, so let's look at the homework. If you click on the homework, you'll see that the homework page will open, and you'll always have a Excel shell file attached to the homework. Okay, now this one I suggest that you download, save it in your computer, and make sure that you download the file and save the file. So after saving the file, then you open it in Excel and you complete the problem. And then you have to come back here and browse the computer, attach your completed Excel file, and then submit. You attach and then submit. If you simply attach and go away, the file will not get uploaded. You have to attach the file, and then you have to click submit. So that's your assessment. So for each week, you'll have classwork that you need to complete, and then you have to do the assessment. So if you follow that class schedule week after week, then you will be just fine. And then you'll have exam at the end of 7 weeks. Now, this tab contains all the different chapter material. You don't have to go into this folder, because in the class schedule I have given links to each of these. So you really don't need to get to this tab unless you want to just browse around. And here again, homework, all the homework are listed here, but you really don't have to go to this tab, and you will have links from the assessment folder to those homework assignments. Okay, come exam time, the exam link will be made available here. Okay, and here are the different discussion boards if you want to go directly to discussion board, or you can go to the discussion boards from the class schedule. For each week, I have a link to the discussion board. Okay, if you want to email each other or me, you can click this. But if you email from here, you'll go to my utc.edu ID. And they have a strange system where they are not able to give me access to Mark's ID from here. So I would suggest don't use this email to email me. If you want to email me, go directly to the instructor page and use that email address. Okay. All right. I think I've covered pretty much everything that needs to be covered. Make sure that you go over the Blackboard site, the Blackboard page carefully and understand all the tabs and what the requirements are, when to complete and so on. And if you have any questions, so obviously you let me know.